Now back to Willard and Dibbs. Take it away, Mark.
No, you take it away, Steph. You go beat the Cavs tonight on 95.7 The Game.
What kind of a game is this tonight? It's not a must.
Gotta have it.
Is it a gotta have it?
No, it's an injected into my veins game because it's Friday night. I feel like we have been woefully short on sports this week.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just like, wait a minute. We had that Monday night game, and then what do we get?
Thursday night football last night.
Exactly. Like, what have we had?
We had Maction on Tuesday.
Okay, keep going.
College hoops.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving you locks. I'm 4-0. I'm on a heater.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
No,
for
you're
real.
welcome.
Yeah, but, like, on the real, from Monday night till now, what on earth? No Warrior games. One NFL game between the Panthers and the Falcons.
It's a big game.
Both teams ended the game with 5 in their point total. Okay? Like, it's been weak. There's been a week. So,
week.
The fact that the 49ers and Chargers are on Sunday Night Football,
that's so big.
And then the Warriors twice this week, starting with the Cavaliers tonight. I'm juiced. I'm absolutely ready to go. Like our next guest, good friend of ours. His name is Rich Orhnberger. He used to play for the Chargers. He used to play for the Patriots. And once upon a time, he used to interview Jason Verrett all the dang time. Rich, good morning. Can you believe it? A torn Achilles in practice on Wednesday for Jason Verrett. I don't know what to say about this guy's career.
I know what to say. You know, it's just such an unfortunate confluence of events that have led to him, you know, not ever reaching his full potential. Because if there's a list of players where if they would have stayed healthy, could have potentially had a Hall of Fame career, and I mean that, Jason Verrett's on a short list because Jason Verrett is that type of talent. When I was signed as a free agent to the Chargers back in 2013, that was the year he was drafted in the first round. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Tom Telesco's first ever first-round draft pick. First ever pick. And so I got to watch this guy who was already nursing a shoulder injury that offseason keep up with some of the best receivers we had on that team and shut people down. And I'm like, oh, boy, like when he figures out football at this level at all, he's going to be an astounding piece of the puzzle. And the unfortunate reality is the shoulder injury turned into lower body injuries, which turned into more lower body injuries. He's just never been able to put together a healthy career, and I feel sorry for him. But your availability is your best ability in the NFL. It's a war of attrition, and he just has not been available.
What was his big separation skill, Rich? Was it his speed, his ability to cover, his ability to hit, all of the above? What was it about Jason Verrett?
Well, he was a willing hitter out of college because I remember even, like, after watching him a couple of times, like, I was like, what did he do in college? Like, you know, I just sort of felt like I missed it, you know, because, like, you know, you think about a guy or a team, you know, like the Horned Frogs, TCU was pretty good that season. And then, you know, he joined the squad. I was like, you know, everybody pays attention to the offensive side of football, you know, kind of when as a passer buyer. But when you turn on the film, like he was doing the same stuff to college receivers as he was at the NFL level, at least, you know, during the practice times and then the short times that he was available on the field for the Chargers. Like, he was just sticky, man. Like, it was almost like he could anticipate a receiver's, you know, timing and breaks out of the top of their routes. And he very rarely was fooled. Like, you know, there are a lot of corners who are supremely talented, but, you know, if you pump fake them, you know, and you double move them, you could get them biting hard. Like, he was just so patient, and he was a fluid mover. And that secondary, you have to have, like, really loose hips, like where you can flip them on in an instant and go from backpedaling into a full-speed run. And he just was able to do that. Like really no one I'd really seen play the position outside of, like, the few elite. He's that good. He is that good, gentlemen, and he just, unfortunately, has never been able to stay healthy.
Rich Orhnberger with us in San Diego, handling radio things down there. Also former Charger, former Patriot. Rich, when the Chargers left San Diego, look, we still call them San Diego Chargers up here because that's just it. I'm not switching, but you and I were together doing a show literally when they left, and so I know what it used to be like. How has San Diego's relationship with the Chargers evolved since then?
Well, there are some people who still, the candle burns bright for the Chargers, and so they'll never quit on them. And then there's a lot of people who jumped off the bandwagon, like, okay, as soon as they moved, I was done. And then there's a lot of people who were in, they're still watching, they're still a part of it because, Phillip Rivers is still there, and a lot of the same faces that played down here in San Diego were there. But over time, you just sort of lose the scent, I guess is the best way to describe it, because the preseason isn't as important as the years go by, and the NFL draft doesn't excite you quite the way it used to. So it's fizzling is the way I would describe it. Like the fan patronage in all things Chargers in San Diego has sort of fizzled, and so now you have what the Los Angeles market used to be in San Diego. You have a pretty transient market of a lot of people from a lot of different places. It's a hugely successful market for NFL football. It's still very much a football city. But now, do the Chargers rate? Yeah, certainly, and they rate well. Are they broadcast every single weekend? Absolutely, because, they do rate well. But all NFL teams rate well here in this market because it's an NFL city. So, it's sort of morphed into what Los Angeles used to be from that standpoint.
Are there Charger bars and Charger viewing parties, or is it more just kind of pockets of diehards and more of just a casual spread out fan base?
There's still Charger bars. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I know, certain bars kind of almost reluctantly so because, these business owners for a long time, they were a part of it too, maybe season ticket holders and, heartbroken over the Chargers leaving. But you don't want to turn your back on that business because it's still good business. So it's not advertised quite the way it was when the Chargers were still part of the San Diego market. You're not having people really broadcast the fact that, hey, it's Chargers weekend over here at, the pizza shop or, the watering hole. It's just not how it is anymore. But there are still pockets and places that you could go to and, people wear their jerseys. And, the Phillip Rivers jerseys are starting to get older. You're starting to see cracks in those numbers. The R is falling off. Or the Junior Seau's, you're missing a whole 5 on the front. But they still come out to support the team because, again, a lot of people can't quit them.
All right, Rich, I want to hear some things about Justin Herbert, but before we do that, let's go to the quarterback on the 49ers side and get your thoughts on what's on the table here for Jimmy Garoppolo. Seemingly a Pro Bowl offense around him, a 4-4 record, an NFC that's probably going to let him into the playoffs seemingly no matter what the hell they do. If you're the 49ers, how do you handle the future of Jimmy Garoppolo in the quarterback position?
Man, if I had that answer, right, I'd be calling the shots in there at the office with John Lynch. I'll say this. I mean, they may have missed on Trey Lance, right? And so that puts you into a very similar situation as the Green Bay Packers, except maybe worse off because the quarterback who's, there in incumbency isn't as talented as Aaron Rodgers. He may have a better attitude than Aaron Rodgers, but he isn't Aaron Rodgers. So it makes that situation for the 49ers pretty tricky. Trey Lance took a while to incubate, and then, within the first couple of snaps being a starter, injures himself so completely that who knows how he's going to look coming back from that injury, and who knows if he was really ready to take over the squad in the first place. So you're punting on that one. But then in the interim, do you try to do what, say, the Denver Broncos did this offseason, and you try to leverage your future for an aging superstar at the position? Are you going to go into this draft, which is heavy with quarterbacks, and maybe do the same thing you did to get Trey Lance and trade some future draft capital to get one of these highly touted quarterbacks coming out this year? The answer is I really don't know what the future holds for the 49ers, but in the short term, I can tell you this, Jimmy G's a winner. He just seems to know how to stabilize a franchise, and he's shown that with the 49ers over his tenure. So could I see the 49ers make another deep postseason run with Jimmy G at the helm? Absolutely, because that's a real defense, and that is a devastatingly loaded offense.
Yeah, and it would be fun to see what Trey Lance could do with this offense, but we won't have that opportunity this year. And next year will be fascinating to see just what they do. Justin Herbert was supposed to be the thing this year, and then he got hurt, and the offense has been hurt around him. What do you make of what he's been able to do this year with the bum ribs and a dilapidated offense?
I think Justin Herbert has saved Brandon Staley's job. Like, when you really think about some of the close calls they've had with some of the bad decision-making that Brandon Staley has been responsible for, I think the fact that you have an elite-level quarterback like Justin Herbert handling things offensively for you and getting you wins in tight games, because, if you just look at some of his fourth-quarter throws, like his ability to be clutch, he's an astounding talent. And if they don't make it to the postseason this year, especially with really honestly, they're winning in spite of the injuries. You could make the argument, well, this isn't a very good football team, and they have a lot of injuries, but they're finding ways to win close games. So give them that notch in their belt. But, it's possible that they miss the postseason because those chickens come home to roost. And if they do, people are going to go ahead and rehash on some of the decisions that Brandon Staley has made throughout the season so far. And, honestly, it's a trend now, so you figure that's going to continue. And then also, you look at them being, consequentially slow starters. It hasn't bit them yet, but I saw this incredible stat. Through the past 4 consecutive games, they've trailed by 10 or more points and found ways to win 3 of those. It is crazy that they've been able to lead comebacks and take the lead in all 4 of those games. Now, they lost one, like I said, but it's slow starting teams, bad finishing teams, or teams with a head coach who makes poor decisions in clutch spots. They get flagged as a team that may be shopping a head coach. So Justin Herbert, in my mind, is an otherworldly talent, and it's potential here that, as we saw last year with the failed playoff run, that Brandon Staley is actually holding him back from being as great of a quarterback as he potentially could be.
Hey, Rich, great stuff as always. Hey, listen, does your partner still hate the Warriors as much as he used to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Steve Hartman is Rich's partner, and Steve thinks that Steve Kerr is smug. He thinks that Steph Curry is overrated and that the Warriors as a whole are nauseating. Is that about accurate?
No, you pretty much nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Steve and our relationship, when it comes to many talking points, we disagree, and that would be one of them.
Yeah, okay. So tell him we said hey.
Will do.
Right.
And tell him, other than this year, we say scoreboard, last year anyway.
Yeah. So, and the Lakers are 2-9, right? Do I have that right, too?
Yeah, the Lakers are terrible.
Yeah.
Runs nursing the sore groin. And to the point you were just making, the Warriors, the accomplishments over the last bunch of seasons by that franchise, how anybody could look at this situation and be like, yeah, but the head coach is kind of a jerk. Like,
well, you used to play for the Patriots. You know exactly what this dynamic is like.
Yeah. Belichick, if the worst thing you could say about him is, you know what? He's rude to the media. So be it. 6 championships, and then tell me how that works.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, buddy, thanks so much as always.
You got it, boys.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, there you go.